This channel is sponsored by Pro Football Focus. NFL, college, and fantasy data for every player, every play, every game. Visit ProFootballFocus.com to learn more. Hey guys, and welcome back to Franchise Nation. I'm your host, Moonlightswami. Today I'm bringing you guys the Week 10 recap. We might not be the best team in the world, but we're at least making this season interesting. As an organization, we are 4-5, and we knocked off the Denver Broncos, who had been on a downward spiral led by Austin Davis this week, as both Paxton Lynch and Trevor Siemian were out. But I think this was our best played game of the season. We controlled the pace and the tempo throughout the entire game, and while things were in doubt just a little bit at times, we really maintained a great flow throughout this game, and we did it without Mark Ingram, which is a little bit interesting. Seems like he might be holding us back a little bit, but I don't want to jump to that conclusion just yet. We'll see how Tim Hightower does moving forward, and if we need to draft a running back, then we'll draft a running back. Lasco is still a developmental player, but let's take a look. Ravens beat the Browns 34-14. Ravens are one of the best teams in the AFC, Browns the worst. Texans beat the Jaguars, which means I think now the Texans are in first place. Obviously, we beat the Broncos. The Jets beat the Rams, which helps us out anytime an NFC team loses. We're being helped out because we really do need to get into a position to make the playoffs, and division might not exactly be there. The Falcons destroyed the Eagles. This is a really interesting game because the Eagles were one of the teams that only had one loss coming in. And the Falcons are, I believe, leading the division right now, which, oh my. Matt Ryan, oh my. 5 touchdowns, no picks. They're a scary team. Devonta Freeman, Kevin Coleman. Brian Hartline was the guy who did all the damage. 7 for 148 and 3 touchdowns. Julio only had 2 for 35. Yet they decided to blow them out just, oh my god. Freeman had a receiving touchdown as well. Oh my god. Did not expect that. Chiefs beat the Panthers. That's a huge help to us, as the Chiefs have really rebounded after a 1-4 start. The Bucks beat the Bears. A little unfortunate. Vikings beat the Redskins. Titans beat the Packers. Good. Very good. Chargers beat the Dolphins 28-6. Cardinals beat the 49ers 38-20. Cowboys beat the Steelers. So a battle of one-loss teams, and the Cowboys win. The Patriots just barely beat the Seahawks. That's huge. And the Bengals beat the Giants. So let's just take a look at this, because the Seahawks almost came back on them. Tom Brady, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Garoppolo got a touchdown. Russell Wilson, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rawls, Blunt, Christine Michael, James Devlin got a touchdown. Amendola led the way, Edelman, Gronk, not bad. So that's what the Week 10 looked like. And for Week 11, things are going to be interesting. Obviously, Texans at Raiders in Monday Night Football, Packers at Redskins on Sunday night, Eagles at Seahawks, battle of 2 really good teams, Patriots at 49ers, Dolphins at Rams, Cardinals at Vikings, Bears at Giants, Buccaneers at Chiefs. If the Buccaneers lose that game, that'll be really good for us. Bills at Bengals, Titans at Colts, Jags at Lions, Ravens at Cowboys, Steelers at Browns, and then Saints at Panthers. So, do the Falcons have a bye week this week? I think they do. That's a late bye. That's really good for them. They're a really good team, the Falcons. They're dangerous. Very dangerous. And Panthers, Rams, Lions, Bucks, Cardinals, Bucks, Falcons. So Buccaneers aren't a team to be taken lightly either, especially with their twin towers at wide receiver. Taking a look around the league, Patriots are 9-0 still. Cowboys 8-1, Eagles 7-2, Chargers 7-2-1, Ravens 6-2-1, Steelers 6-3, Titans 6-4, Falcons lead the division at 6-4. We'll take a look by division. The Seahawks at 5-4. Okay, Rams at 4-5. The fact they're on a bit of a skid helps us out. NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles, both of them are probably going to make the playoffs, and that means that there's only one wild card spot for us. The Redskins at 5-4 are a bit of an issue, but they did just lose, so that's good. In the NFC South, we currently sit in last place. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. And the fact that Falcons are technically 2 games better than us right now is a bit disconcerting. Buccaneers are 5-4, Panthers are 4-5, but they beat us, so they're ahead of us as well. NFC North, Lions are 5-4. Then you have the Packers and Vikings both at 4-5. That's not good. There are a lot of teams competing with us. AFC West, obviously, this is a little bit easier to deal with. Chargers 7-2-1. Chiefs 5-4 after they've won 4 straight. Broncos 5-5 after they've lost 3 straight. Raiders 4-5. AFC East, the Jets at 6-4, Bills 4-5, Dolphins 1-8. AFC South, Titans 6-4, so they took over first place. Texans 5-4, Jags after losing 2 straight are 4-4-1, and the Colts at 2-6-1. Round that out. Ravens 6-2-1, Steelers 6-3, Bengals 4-5, Browns 1-9. So taking a look in the standings for the NFC, we are a ways down. We're kind of in the middle of the pack at 4-5, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams ahead of us in terms of playoff standings that aren't division winners. That's not good. Let's take a look at overall points just to give you an idea where we're sitting. We have scored, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th most points, and we have allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th most points. That's really the way that the Saints work. Offense is weak. Offense is great, defense is weak, and we go from there. So that's just something to keep in mind. Obviously, Matt Ryan deserves Player of the Week. Kevin Minter had a really good week as well. Muhammad Wilkerson in the AFC, and Jeremy Maclin, 8 for 168 and 2 scores, got him AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Surprised they didn't give that to Alex Smith, though. After back-to-back impressive performances by Drew Brees himself, he leads the league in passing yards. That's really not out of the ordinary. Passing attempts, he's not the leader. He's just averaging a lot of yards per attempt. 9 yards per attempt is the best in the NFL. So he's really stretching the field a little bit. The touchdowns, he is first in touchdowns. Interceptions, he's second in interceptions. So obviously he's had some woes in the interception department, but as of late, he's just kind of turned it on, and Brees has been phenomenal, averaging 331 yards per game. That's crazy. Yards per attempt, obviously out of starters, he's the only one above 9 yards per attempt. Second is Brock Osweiler with Russell Wilson right there. In terms of sacks, he's not the most sacked. The offensive line has been pretty good, especially on the left tackle side, but Brees has been getting the ball out of his hands pretty quickly. And you have to remember that despite this, he still had a bye week. So there are some teams that have not had a bye, but I think at this point most teams have. In terms of rushing yards, Devonta Freeman over 1,000 yards already. Crazy AP behind him. 5.4 yards per carry is the best in the NFL, it seems. 5 touchdowns is not the most, but still pretty impressive. Melvin Gordon, 8. Alfred Morris, 8. Lacey, 7, etc. Fumbles, it has to be Christine Michael still with 7. Yes, that makes sense. Looking, Danny Amendola, leading the NFL in receptions, 62. 729 yards for him, 5 touchdowns. In terms of yardage, that goes to A.J. Green, followed by Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, etc. Receptions, I thought I saw somebody that we recognized, and there he is, Michael Thomas, 54 receptions. He's making his name for himself already. The fact that he's this high up in terms of receptions, he missed a full game, he'd be in contention for leading the NFL in receptions this season if he had stayed healthy. Touchdowns, A.J. Green, Michael Floyd, Rashad Green, Odell Beckham, and Kobe Fleener all have 8. Brandon Cooks has 7. That's the only department that you can't say Brees has exactly thrived in, is giving the ball to Michael Thomas in the end zone. Blocking, Bobby Massey is awful. Time to separate things out a little bit. DeQuell Jackson, Brian Cushing lead the way in tackles in the AFC. Sue Wilkerson, tackles for a loss leaders. Sacks, a few guys over 10. Watt, Mack, and Collins. Mario Williams with 9.5. Not bad. Interceptions is 4 for Chris Harris Jr., but there was something I noticed. Joey Bosa in his rookie season, 9 sacks. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's take a look at the NFC. Cameron Jordan leads the way in sacks, 11.5. Ansah and Connor Barwin right behind him. Tackles leader is Paul Warlow. Navarro Bowman, Tahir Whitehead, Deion Buchanan, etc. following. Linval Joseph leads the way in tackles for a loss. That's a given at this point. 23 on the season. He's been dominant up the middle. Interceptions, it's Desmond Trufant, Delvin Breaux, Earl Thomas, Malcolm Jenkins, Sherman, and K'Wan Williams all behind him. Kicking, we still don't have Will Lutz on the list, unfortunately, but he is the most accurate kicker in the league as of right now. Can't believe they still don't have him yet. Poor Will Lutz. And that will pretty much do it. The team that we're facing next week is the Carolina Panthers. Again, Panthers are a dangerous team. Graham Gano has not been accurate, but Cam Newton, 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 205 yards per game. They've been doing a lot of running, and that's where we are a little bit weak. Cameron Artis-Payne, 160 rushing attempts. Cam Newton, Whitaker, Jonathan Stewart, who's been injured, also getting involved. But that's where the big things are. A lot of rushing touchdowns. Kelvin Benjamin, Greg Olsen, Ted Ginn, those are the primary receivers. Defensively, Thomas Davis is always a threat. Luke Kuechly doesn't have a tackle for a loss this season, which is very surprising. Having a bit of a down year. The fact that he's not leading the team in tackles is also pretty surprising. He must have been hurt. Tony Ely leads the team in sacks. K'Wan Short, 12 tackles for a loss. Starla Tule with 4 and 5.5 sacks. Interceptions, it's Trey Boston. Punting, Andy Lee has been great. Philly Brown, solid. Punt return, Ted Ginn has a punt return touchdown. Lastly, we'll take a look at injuries. Obviously, this is our injury report. Mark Ingram's going to be out for 3 more weeks with a shoulder tear. And for the Panthers, looks like Ted Ginn and Greg Olsen are both out, which means that it's going to be Ed Dickson, it's going to be Kelvin Benjamin, Philly Brown. Who else is going to be their primary targets? We'll take a look at their roster right now, see if there's anybody worth noting on that Panthers team. So Olsen's obviously their best player, but it's going to be Ruben Randall, Devin Funchess, and Kevin Norwood. So they have some height at wide receiver, 6'5", 5'11", then 6'2", 6'4", 6'2". It's going to be Ed Dickson, and it's going to be Scott Simonson in at tight end, which is definitely an advantage to us because Olsen is just dynamic and relentless, and he caused us fits last time we faced them. So this is a huge game for us. If we can win this game, we'll pull to 5-5, and we'll have a shot at the playoffs. It's still an outside shot, but there are enough teams around us that with a little bit of luck, we might be able to get to that playoff picture. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Moonlightswami, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace!